Hey guys, 0 Point Programming here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to install and set up a Django development environment using VirtualBox on Ubuntu Linux. First things first, you have to download a Ubuntu ISO from the Ubuntu website. So you just go to ubuntu.com/download/server, select option 2, and then click download server to download the ISO file. Once you've downloaded the ISO file, we'll need to come over here to our VirtualBox manager, our virtual media manager, optical disks, and add your optical disk to this list. Once we've done that, we're going to create a new virtual machine. And we'll give it a name. We'll just call it test. Set the type to Linux and the version to Ubuntu 64-bit. Allocate as much RAM as you want. I do 4 gigs, that's what I prefer. Create a virtual hard disk now and create. And now we will create a virtual hard disk. I use a dynamically sized virtual hard disk for my projects. If we've done that, we want to go to settings, storage, and attach an image. This will allow us to install Linux on our machine. And go to network and change the attach network type to bridge. That will allow us to get a DHCP IP address from our router so that we can access our web server from outside of the development environment. And now we will start our server. Now we will begin setting up our Linux server. Select English, done, 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 yes, done, done, confirm destructive action, yes, and create our user account. So I'll call myself 0 with a simple password. You're going to want to use an advanced password if you want to enable SSH connection. Then you could do that here. It's done. We don't want to install any of these packages. Done. And now we wait for this to complete. To save time here in this tutorial, I'm going to cancel the update and just reboot it now. Now that that's done, we need to shut down the server. Go to settings, storage, and remove the ISO. Now we can start the server back up and boot into Linux. Now we'll log in with the user that we created in the setup. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the root password. And then switch user to root, just to make things easier, so we don't have to deal with any permissions. So we'll cd to var, and we'll make directory, if you don't have it already, and then cd into www. And now we'll do apt update, and then apt upgrade. Yes. Now we need to do apt install Python 3 to verify that Python is installed. It should have been installed with the previous command that we ran, but just to make sure. Now we need to do apt install Python 3-virtualenv, apt install Python 3-pip, yes. And I'm going to use postgresql for my Django server, so I'm going to go ahead and to install that as well. So I'll do apt install lib pq-dev python 3-dev postgresql and postgresql-contrib, and yes to all that. And I'm going to go ahead and set up my database and database user as well. So what I'll do is su to switch user to Postgres, and we'll do create db test and create user-p admin and pass. And then we'll do psql to enter our SQL terminal, and we'll do grant all privileges on database test to admin, and then exit. Now we'll su back to root, and we will create a virtual environment for our project by using virtual ENV and project name. So I'll just call this project test, and then we'll source into that by sourcing to test bin activate. Now we are inside of our virtual environment. We can start setting up everything for the Django. So we'll do pip3 install to Django. Pip3 install to CSYCOPG2. CyclePG2 is the Django extension for Postgres SQL integration. Now that we've done all that, we can do django-admin.py start project test project. Now we should have test, which is our virtual environment directory, and test project, which is our Django project directory. So we can cd into test project, and now we can see we have manage.py. And when you create your new project, you need to do a migration. So we'll do manage.py. When you do Python manage.py, and then migrate. And if you want to test start your dev server, you can do Python manage.py run server, and then 0.0.0.0:8000. That will start on your public IP address at port 8000. And that's pretty much the gist of starting a Python to Django server. Now, if you want to run this server and close your terminal window, you need to also install screen. So do sudo apt install screen to install it outside of the virtual environment. Screen is already installed, that's great. So we can do screen python manage.py run server 0.0.0.0:8000. And to detach the screen, we can do Control A and D. And now if we do screen ls, we can see that our server is still running inside of the screen. And now we can do other stuff in our terminal window. And if we want to reattach that screen, you can use screen-R. and Control C to kill that. And now we'll begin to customize and configure our Django server. That'll be part of the next video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more tutorials.